How one tiny typo in my resignation letter completely destroyed my toxic boss. My boss, Rachel, was the kind of manager who made everyone's life miserable. She'd steal credit for our work, scream at employees over minor mistakes, and force people to work unpaid overtime while she left early for yoga class. The final straw came when she blamed me for her own error on a client presentation. "Your incompetence cost us this account," she announced in front of the entire team, even though she'd changed my numbers without telling me. I'd had enough. That night, I wrote my resignation letter, planning to give 2 weeks' notice like a professional. But I was exhausted and angry. Instead of typing, "I resign from my position effective in 2 weeks," I accidentally wrote, "I resign from my position effective in 2 weeks due to Rachel's incompetence and hostile management style." I meant to delete that last part, but I was so fed up that I just hit print and went to bed. The next morning, I marched into Rachel's office and handed her the letter. She barely glanced at it before shoving it in her drawer. "Fine, whatever. Clean out your desk," she said dismissively. "We don't need people who can't handle pressure." What I didn't know was that our company required all resignations to be forwarded to HR within 24 hours for processing. Rachel, being her usual careless self, just scanned my letter and sent it to the entire HR department without reading it properly. By lunch, my phone was buzzing nonstop. "Did you really submit a resignation letter calling Rachel incompetent?" My coworker Sarah texted. Apparently, HR had forwarded my letter to the legal department because it contained concerning allegations about management conduct. Legal then sent it to the CEO's office as a potential liability issue. Within hours, the CEO had called an emergency meeting with Rachel, HR, and the legal team to discuss the hostile management environment mentioned in my resignation. Rachel tried to play it off. "It's just a disgruntled employee making false accusations." But here's the thing about my false accusations. They were accidentally true, and HR had been quietly documenting complaints about Rachel for months. The CEO asked HR to present any other evidence of management issues. They pulled out a file thick with formal complaints, harassment reports, wrongful overtime violations, and 3 separate instances of credit theft that had been verified by other employees. My accidental typo had triggered a full investigation into Rachel's conduct. 2 days later, Rachel called me in a panic. "You need to retract that resignation letter. I'll give you a raise, whatever you want." "I'm confused," I said innocently. "Retract what exactly?" "The part about, the management comments." "Oh, you mean the part about your incompetence and hostile management style." "Why would I retract the truth? It was a mistake. You didn't mean to write that." "Actually, Rachel, reading it back, I think it perfectly summarizes my experience working under you." She started crying on the phone. "Please, they're talking about firing me. I have a mortgage, kids in college. Maybe you should have thought about that before creating a hostile work environment." The investigation concluded within a week. Rachel was fired for multiple policy violations, and our entire team was interviewed about the toxic culture she'd created. But here's the beautiful part. The company offered me Rachel's position. "Your resignation letter, while unconventional, highlighted serious issues we needed to address." "Actually, Rachel, reading it back, I think it perfectly summarizes my experience working under you." She started crying on the phone. "Please, they're talking about firing me. I have a mortgage, kids in college. Maybe you should have thought about that before creating a hostile work environment." The investigation concluded within a week. Rachel was fired for multiple policy violations, and our entire team was interviewed about the toxic culture she'd created. But here's the beautiful part. The company offered me Rachel's position. "Your resignation letter, while unconventional, highlighted serious issues we needed to address," the CEO explained. "We'd like you to help us rebuild this department with proper leadership." I accepted, with a 40% salary increase and the authority to implement employee-friendly policies.